I imagine that many of us have at one time or another worked in a restaurant or a bar. I remember my cousin once saying that he thought everyone should work in a restaurant at some point, which would have been a cool thought, except he never worked in a restaurant. I worked in a couple of restaurants as a server, as a host, and if you are on your game, it's fun, it's like a class in human nature. If you're not on your game, it is dreadful and stressful. But particularly as a host, you need to be organized, friendly, peacemaker. People are willing to wait to a point for their table, even though they're hungry. They're waiting and think it's worth the wait, given the place, the food, the company they're with, the ambiance, everything. And then when they get their table, and I don't think they think about this, but they're going to sit there for like an hour, just sitting in that chair for an hour and not even thinking about time or anything, if they're having a good experience. Time goes by, they're enjoying the food, conversation, the whole scene. And then when they leave, if they've had the good experience, you see smiles on their faces. And even some who have, at the door, they were giving me a hard time with the wait, they leave happy. Now, I don't know if Jesus is referring to this in the Beatitudes when he says, "Blessed are you who are now hungry, for you be satisfied." And I wouldn't necessarily put that quote, although we could, in the waiting area in a restaurant. I think he's talking more about spiritual hunger. And there are opportunities that we have in the church to experience this beatitude. When Jesus lays out the Beatitudes, and he's really describing his life in him, life in the kingdom, on earth, and in the next life. And so we have this opportunity coming in just like 2 weeks. You've heard me talk about the Adoration Chapel right down the way, in the back part of the new youth center, opening March 3rd. And amazingly, our reservation sheet is just about full. All the hours of the day, all week, every week, except for 10. That's it. You all are amazing. It's incredible. We do need help with the 10 to keep the chapel open 24/7. You can go to our website and see what hours are available. And if you're worried about every single week, we have a long list of subs who can help when you're not able to. But it's the similar experience, and there's plenty of hunger for this, to have an hour with God. And already you're thinking about, that's a long time to sit in a chapel or kneel. But just like in the restaurant, sometimes time just flies. You're not even thinking about it. I was talking to a parishioner just last week, or this week, who said the first time he went in adoration for an hour, it went so much faster than he expected. Imagine going to a restaurant, they sit you at the table, and you don't have to order anything, you don't have to say anything, they do it all, they bring you the best food and drink they've got, and it's the best. That's really our job in adoration, or that's what happens in adoration. We're there, we sit and kneel for an hour, and Jesus does all the rest. Bring us the best there is, to satisfy not so much our bodies, but our hearts, our souls, our minds. To be in his presence just brings peace. I mean, you think the ambiance in a good restaurant is nice. Try out the chapel. There's this palpable peace that people experience, and this is what brings them back. To be in his presence brings peace. It's like your home. The one who created you, the one who saved you, the one who loves you, the one who knows you better than anybody. And he affirms you. He's happy to see you. And literally, there's going to be like an altar in the chapel where he's exposed in the Eucharist. The whole hour, the whole day, the whole week. And to look at him. One person described adoration as, I look at him, he looks at me. And to feel that loving gaze, I mean, I kind of goofily call it sun tanning, like S-O-N tanning, like you get I know, it's stupid. But you're kind of bronzed in the soul, in the heart, feeling his loving rays. And you talk about being satisfied. I mean, it's looking at your life with him and through his eyes as like never before. Whether you're praying personally or reading scripture and he speaks to you and it's the truth. It's real. And he's walking you through your life and preparing you for the future, giving you direction. It's just really solid. It's really beautiful. And it's really satisfying. So we can definitely put up this verse like on the way into the chapel because it is a promise that so many have experienced. Blessed are you who are now hungry, for you will be satisfied.